Yo, 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 Big Kish back up in here. Somebody put together a nice edit called Rapaholics. I didn't watch it yet. I seen probably like 2 minutes or something like that. So I, just to get a feel of it. I don't know how many Young Money fans out there, but it's kind of, give a backstory of how Drake started and how a lot of, Young Money. It's called The Rise and Fall of Young Money documentary. It's done by Rapaholics. I'm going to leave a link in the description, but I just want to go over it with y'all, and kick back, sit back, relax, and let's check this video out, y'all. Let's get it.
Young Money Entertainment, my own thing, the new thing, man. Holla at your boy, we taking over.
I got this rapper from Canada, his name is Drake. He's real big, he's actor and all that, he's in the Brassy High. They're all better than me. That's why I came on first. Y'all gonna love me, but once they come out, y'all gonna forget about me.
I got my man Lil Chucky. I have the beautiful Miss Chanel. We all know Nicki Minaj. And last but not least, Drake.
6 years later.
Lil Wayne has established a label called Young Money. Now, Young Money Entertainment is a part of Cash Money, and he sued Cash Money and Birdman for $51 million, claiming he didn't get paid. He's looking at them and saying, you guys are not paying us for the albums of Drake, Nicki, and Tyga.
That situation was a lot of mess that needed to be cleaned up over the years. And you just think of where those guys started. I mean, it's only right that there's going to be a lot of gray area over 20 years of hustlers coming out of New Orleans to go on and pretty much keep Universal alive.
If you know anything about hip-hop, then you know that Young Money is probably the biggest record label of all time. Lil Wayne was at the height of his career when he started the label. He was the last rapper to sell 1 million copies in the first week with his album The Carter 3, and instead of prioritizing his own megastardom, he stepped back from the spotlight and...
Man, hey, he's the definition of a real workaholic, bro. Ain't no telling what they be taking so they could, go to sleep and wake up, all these different schedules. Bro, the body, man, yo, listen, man. Could you imagine that, bro? Could you imagine that?
And introduced the world to the biggest rappers today, like Drake, Nicki Minaj, and Tyga. But in 2024, you probably wouldn't recognize any of the new Young Money artists. And even though...
Hold up. Who is these people? Oh, snap. They do got new people up there. Damn, that's 2024?
Young Money birthed some of the biggest artists in hip-hop, the downfall of the label was actually a lot darker than you might think. But before we get into the downfall of the label, we've got to understand the foundation it was built on. In 2005, nearly all of the original Cash Money members had left the label due to money issues. The last man standing was Lil Wayne, who was discovered by Birdman and signed to Cash Money in the early 90s at the young age of 12 years old. By 2005, Wayne was on his way to becoming the biggest rapper in the world, and this is when he created Young Money. The profits of Young Money were split 49% going to Lil Wayne and 51% going to Birdman and Cash Money. Young Money was a company under Cash Money Records, with Cash Money owning 51% of the profits that Young Money generated. The first artists signed to Young Money were Currency, Boo, Mac Main, and Gutta Gutta. From the original Young Money roster, the only rapper who's still somewhat active is Currency. However, his time at the label was not...
Hey, y'all let me know if y'all remember them Squad Up mixtapes.
Not long. He left shortly after signing, and he only dropped a couple songs on Young Money. When he was asked why he left Lil Wayne's label, Currency said, "If I had got to Young Money later on, it might have went a different way. But when I was there, I was like, alright, Wayne's trying to make sure he's remembered as the best rapper alive. That does not entail making sure that my music gets where it needs to get to right now, even though he loves me to death." This is the case with a lot of artists in the industry, right? They sign young and take the first deal that's thrown at them, even if it's not the best. However, before Young Money even started, this seemed to be the case with almost every single artist that was signed to Cash Money. Wayne was the only original Cash Money artist left. The founders of Cash Money, Birdman and his brother Slim, signed a distribution deal with Universal Records where they keep 85% of the royalties from all of their music sales. This was unheard of at the time. It meant that Cash Money kept basically all of their artists' profits, and Birdman was then responsible for paying each artist what they were owed from their music. This led to many Cash Money artists signing contracts where they barely saw any profits from their music. The whole label, Juvenile, BG, Turk, their main producer Manny Fresh, they all left Cash Money and they all had similar reasons for leaving. It was essentially due to Birdman's shady business dealings and his inability to pay artists what they're owed. In the late 90s, Juvenile was the biggest artist on the Cash Money label, and he ended up leaving the label at the height of his career. When he left, he said, "My reason to leave Cash Money is the same reason most artists leave a label. Money. I'm working like a slave and I'm getting nothing, so I get an entertainment lawyer and found out Cash Money weren't who they said they were with me." Manny Fresh also said he left the label because of money, and Turk, who was part of the Hot Boys group with Lil Wayne, sued Cash Money for $1.3 million in 2015 for money he was owed from his music. But that was the past, and it didn't really matter because Cash Money still had their biggest superstar, Lil Wayne. Wayne actually tried leaving the label to sign with Jay-Z in 2005.
I'm a Def Jam artist now, man. Next time you see me, I'm gonna be with the boy Jay-Z, you understand me?
But him and Jay-Z never ended up forming a partnership.
I was hollering at Ho. The conversation was about me joining Def Jam or the Rockefeller team or whatever. You know, we didn't agree on certain things or whatever the situation was, it didn't work out. And I'm here where I am, but you know, it's all love.
Instead, Wayne renegotiated his contract with Birdman and Cash Money, and in the same year, they created Young Money. So from 2005 to 2007, most of the original Young Money members had very little success on the label, and they quickly left, as Wayne's priority was to become the best rapper alive. His popularity grew massively in 2007, and he was constantly being pitched artists who wanted to sign to Young Money. According to Jay Mills, who was one of Young Money's first members, Wayne wasn't actively hunting to sign the next Drake or Nicki Minaj. He was focused on the music, not the business. When asked about Young Money, Jay Mills said, "Wayne never really wanted all of us to be like, quote-unquote, signed to Young Money. He wanted us to be Young Money, a group, and we do some Wu-Tang stuff and all get deals. I know this sounds crazy, but he never really wanted us all to be signed to him. He wanted to give us a platform and we go rep Young Money and get deals everywhere, but we're still like this conglomerate." Omarion, another original member of Young Money, had similar thoughts. He said, "So I signed my deal with Young Money. I was supposed to get my advance. And basically, within that time, my check didn't come, and that raised a lot of questions for me, like what type of business was being done." He went on to say, "Wayne wasn't like a boss. He was an artist." So now you have Wayne, who's the biggest rapper in the world at the time, and one of the only rappers still signed to the shady Cash Money label. He decides to start his own label under Cash Money. At the time, most of Young Money's artists had no real buzz, so standing next to the biggest rapper in the world was a big look for them. Making great music with the biggest rapper in the game was the main priority. But as a result, the finances and business side of things took a backseat, and they weren't the biggest focus at the label. Now, the first artist off Young Money who had hits on the charts wasn't actually Drake or Nicki Minaj, it was Tyga. Tyga met Wayne at the 2008 VMA award show and signed to Young Money shortly after. Before signing, he already had an album on the charts and a hit song called Coconut Juice. Even though he started off as the most successful artist on the label, he quickly got overshadowed by the success of Nicki and Drake, but we'll touch on that a bit later. After signing to Young Money, it took Tyga 3 years to drop his first album on the label. In 2012, it finally came out, and it actually performed pretty well.
Y'all see how they be having all them filters and stuff before they give it to us? Now it's 2000. That was, man, this probably was about 10 damn years ago. They had them little big head filters. Now it's 2024. People just starting to get them shit.
Selling 68,000 copies in its first week and spawning the hits Rack City and Faded with Lil Wayne. A year later in 2013, he dropped his second album with Young Money. That album didn't perform as well, and it was pretty quiet for Tyga until the end of 2014 when he left a comment on Instagram saying, "The Gold album is done. My label's holding me hostage, so I can't release nothing. Might just leak it for my fans instead of letting the label make money off it." When a fan asked if he was...
I'm going to go ahead and try to see what Drake started at. Ain't nobody about to be doing all this. Them niggas, they rather little Chucky and them. Don't nobody really want to know about them for real. Yeah, don't nobody want to know about no damn Chucky. That good Drizzy. Everybody, we about to fast forward it to what everybody here for. Drizzy Drake. BBL Drizzy. Shit, make sure this is it.
Music beyond his association and controversy with Lil Wayne and Justin Bieber. As for Drake, it was the absolute complete opposite. Aside from creating music that changed the course of hip-hop, blending R&B and rap in a way that's never been done before, Drake had an extremely clean reputation and people cared more about his music than his affiliation with Wayne or other big artists. According to Lil Twist, Drake met Lil Wayne at the A Milli video shoot, and he brought him a portfolio full of headshots from Degrassi, which was the TV show that Drake was on before he became a rapper. Twist said that from the beginning, Drake was professional and well put together. Wayne flipped through the portfolio that Drake brought him and immediately...
Drake is more marketable. He speak well. He know how to read. He know how to read. You can't. They could put him on stage and he read the teleprompter without stuttering. You put one of these little project niggas up on that stage, man, try to read that teleprompter. I can't see. We'll be back with y'all in a few moments. Nah, shit can't work, bro. You really gotta be put together before you get signed and all that.
Told his management team to sign Drake. Now, while it's definitely true that Drake has always been professional, the story of how Wayne signed him is different depending on who you ask. Jazz Prince Jr., the guy who initially found Drake on MySpace, claims that when he first showed Wayne Drake's music, Weezy said, "Jazz, don't ever play this for me again. He sucks." Jazz claims that later on he was in the car with Wayne and played him Drake's A Milli remix. Then he played him Drake's song Brand New. When Wayne heard that Drake can rap and sing, that was the moment he wanted to sign him. Wayne found Nicki in a similar way, as he heard her rapping on the Come Up DVD and immediately knew he wanted to sign her. Both Drake and Nicki blew up almost instantly. They dropped mixtapes in 2009, then they both went on insane feature runs where they were out rapping hip-hop vets like Kanye, Wayne, Bun B, Rick Ross, and more. By 2010, Wayne was sent to prison for 8 months, and it was up to Drake and Nicki to make sure Young Money stayed relevant. While all the other Young Money artists failed to create a buzz for themselves, Drake and Nicki put out their first albums, with each of them selling over 300,000 copies first week and going platinum in that same year. By the time Wayne came out of jail, Drake and Nicki were on top of the world. Tyga was about to put out his first album, and Wayne was bigger than ever. But while Young Money's top artists were only getting hotter, this is when the downfall of the label truly began. According to Jay Mills, there was a lot of jealousy between him and the Young Money members. In 2009, they were all small artists, and Wayne would bring all of them out to perform at his shows. But now you have Drake and Nicki, who are superstars, so they were going out on their own tours, but they weren't bringing the rest of Young Money with them. Jay Mills said that when Drake did his 2012 tour, he was extremely disappointed because Drake brought out A$AP Rocky, Kendrick, 2 Chainz, basically all the biggest artists at the time. But he didn't think of bringing out Jay Mills or any other Young Money artists. He said, "Even if we're not hot like that, make us hot. Someone made you hot." To be fair, I was in my feelings, but we were a crew. And in a way, Jay Mills kind of had a point, right? Wayne made Drake and Nicki hot, so they could return the favor by putting their spotlight on some of the Young Money artists that they came up with. If you go back to any Drake or Nicki album, you won't see a single Young Money feature besides Tyga on a remix to The Motto by Drake. It was obvious that Drake and Nicki were on another level, and the label's focus was on making them bigger, and completely ignoring the careers of the rest of the Young Money artists. By 2014, the animosity amongst Young Money members became even worse. Drake, Nicki, and Tyga were the only artists to release any albums on Young Money. And while Tyga was fighting to leave the label, he did an interview with Vibe magazine where he said, "I don't really get along with Drake. I don't really get along with Nicki. I don't like Drake as a person. He's just fake to me. I think his music is good, but we're all different as people. We were forced together. I try to be cool with everybody, but sometimes everybody just has their own different personality."
I think Jay Mills was writing for a lot of them. You know, Jay Mills is a battle rapper. He know how to come up with the metaphors and all of that. I think he was writing for a lot of them.
When Wayne was the only superstar, all the Young Money artists were standing next to him, trying to make a name for themselves. But as Drake and Nicki became bigger than Wayne, it seemed like every Young Money artist got overshadowed by them, and the label didn't see the value in investing into their careers. It's almost like a TV show. You have the main characters, and as the show develops, you'll get some background characters who are lucky to have a couple lines throughout the entire series. If those background characters have personalities that stand out, you'll see more of them as the show progresses. So now you have 3 main actors, and 7 people in the background who aren't seeing any marketing efforts from their label. They're being overshadowed by superstars and getting no help from anyone around them. But to make it worse, not only were they not getting marketed properly, but they also weren't getting paid properly. By the end of 2014, almost 10 years after Wayne started the Young Money label, he sued Birdman for $51 million, claiming that he was never properly paid for profits from Drake, Nicki, Tyga, and even his own music. Remember how the label wasn't letting Tyga release his Gold album? Well, now they weren't letting Wayne, who was once the biggest artist on the label, release his highly anticipated album, The Carter 5. Now, if the boss of the label isn't getting paid and they won't release his own album, what makes you think they're going to spend money to put out a Jay Mills project or pay Gutta Gutta anything? The future of Young Money lied in the hands of Birdman as Wayne fought to end his partnership with Cash Money and began dissing him at his shows. At the time, Birdman was busy turning Young Thug into a superstar, and there were even rumors that Thug and Birdman had someone shoot up Wayne's tour bus after Wayne dissed them. The same way Jay Mills and Tyga had some form of animosity towards Drake's superstardom, it seemed that at this point in Wayne's career, he may have had a similar form of resentment towards Young Thug's rise in popularity and the mentorship he was getting from Birdman. According to Young Thug, when Birdman introduced the 2 artists, Wayne refused to shake Thug's Thug's hand. Thug was like the predecessor that Wayne wanted Lil Chucky and Lil Twist to be. But this is a common theme in the music industry, right? Artists sign bad contracts when they're young and they're desperate, and once their music isn't as hot.
Yeah, we know how that story go. I'm gonna leave a link in the description. It's about to be over. There's only like 2 more minutes left. It's getting not interesting now. But yeah, I thought it was gonna be more interesting than that. But I enjoyed it. Shit, I already knew. Just wanted to hit y'all with another video. Y'all know I be doing this for y'all, man. Look, I got y'all, bro. I'm going to have a video for y'all. You know what I mean? Big Kish signing out. I'm gone, man.